My first guest today, John Fowler, local attorney. We're going to talk about his practice. They do civil, personal injury, wrongful termination suits. John, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, Mike. It's good to have me on. I appreciate it.
We were glad you came in. What would you like folks to know about your law office?
Well, Fowler, Helsel, Vogt does an awful lot of work in the civil arena. We handle wrongful termination claims, harassment, discrimination type claims, largely on behalf of plaintiffs. We also do personal injury practices relating to car accidents, medical malpractice type cases, a little bit of criminal law, and some other smattering of civil law mixed in there in the business world.
Just a little bit, huh?
Just a little bit, yeah.
Now, the personal injury, I mean, people claim all the time that they're injured. How do you know that they're telling you the truth? Or do you care?
Well, you have
to take them at their word, right?
You have to take them at their word to a degree. You have to look into the facts. We do some diligence before we file our cases to establish whether or not there's a cognizable theory, especially in the medical malpractice realm. You want to actually talk to a doctor and find out whether what the plaintiff's claiming is supported by the medical evidence. So you have to do that diligence in order to confidently bring the case and to persuade a jury ultimately, and that's the goal.
Yeah. Aren't there doctors who will say anything for a price?
I think there are lots of people that will say anything for a price. Some would say I might, but no. In reality, the medical experts that we use are relied upon heavily throughout the state by other attorneys as well as practice for a long time. And so we do take a look at their credentials. You want the best guy to do the best work for you, and that's what we pride ourselves in doing, just that.
Yeah. When I worked at Channel 47 years ago, we had a cameraman who left the business and went to work for a local detective agency, and they would follow around people who claimed that they had been injured on the job, and he would film them lifting big heavy boxes and doing all the things that they said they couldn't do. Does your company ever do anything like that?
Well, we don't do those investigations. They're known as sub rosa investigations. Typically, insurance companies will hire people to follow around victims of workers' compensation, injuries, industrial injuries suffered on the job, or even plaintiffs in a medical malpractice case that are alleging, for example, a limitation on their ability to lift or walk or move or stand or bend, and they'll try and capture them, and this might be you out there listening, doing something off duty that you're not supposed to be doing. Mm-hmm. It does come up at the time of trial. It's a very serious issue, and so that's another reason to investigate these claims well and make sure that what your client is saying is going to be supported by the full scope of the evidence and not just
there are cameras everywhere now, so
are there? I think I have one in my pocket.
We have
right
a couple
now.
right here. Look.
Yeah, look at that. So that's absolutely
I have
true.
one right here too. They're everywhere. Why did you choose this branch of law instead of criminal?
If you talk to a lot of lawyers, you'll find out that what they do for a living is not what they had their hearts set on in law school. In fact, I was originally interested in the criminal law, and by virtue of a career path, wound up doing a lot of employment litigation, both on the defense side and on the plaintiff side, and that became my mainstay. And since then, I've taken up a lot of personal injury and medical malpractice type claims because they sort of fall in the ambit of representing plaintiffs, and that's what my firm does. Mm. Yeah.
How many in your office?
We have 4 attorneys practicing with us, 3 partners. The name is Fowler, Helsel, Vogt. My 2 partners right now are trying a case down in Tulare County, and we're looking for a good result in that case later today actually, where it'll be given to the jury. We have 1 associate that works with us and a support staff. So we also have a pre-litigation management team for the auto accident injury type claims. So if you come to us with your car accident case, we could determine whether there's liability, interface with the insurers, get them off your back, and pursue the claim for you without you needing to deal with those hassles. So we have an entire department devoted to that.
The case down in Tulare County, without revealing the specifics of it, you say you're expecting a good outcome today. Do you have a gut feeling before the jury comes back or before the ruling comes back which way it's going to go? Not in that case, but in any case.
Sure. In general, you're presenting the best evidence you can in support of your client's claims. By the time you go to trial, you're a true believer, and you have to be.
You better be.
You better be. And you're your client's champion, and that's what we pride ourselves on doing. And we go to war. Yeah.
But I'm sure there have been times when your jaw probably dropped when a verdict came back against the way you thought it would go.
Well, I could tell you one this year. We tried a case against Greyhound at the beginning of the year. It got a lot of publicity.
The big crash?
The big crash. It did come out against us on that case. However, we got the judge's or the jury's verdict overturned, and the matter's up on appeal right now on a new trial motion. So, you never stop fighting the battle, and that's part of the the choice in selecting a law firm, who you're going to go with, who's going to stick in there for you. So.
Who was your office representing in that case?
We were representing one of the victims in an overturned SUV on the Highway 99. One of the girls, the alleged driver of the SUV.
Okay.
Yeah, that's correct. And the evidence at trial came out in great dispute of that contention. But, you know, as these matters proceed, both sides get to make the arguments to the appellate courts, and we'll see how they rule on the new trial motion. The fact a new trial was granted in that case signifies to me significantly that we presented evidence to establish the negligence case, and there should have been a different jury verdict. And
so we're going to go through a whole trial again on that Greyhound accident?
Absolutely. I'm not sure how long it's going to take before we get that to happen, but we're looking in hopes at later this year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, that accident's been, what, 3 or 4 years ago now?
2010.
2010, and still it's being litigated.
These cases, and you should know this if you're considering legal action, cases can take quite a while to resolve. And this particular case, because of the significance of the injuries and the numerous types of injuries that were involved, took an awful lot of time to percolate through the system. There were cases filed all throughout the state that had to be consolidated eventually here in Fresno County. So different cases have different complexities. That was one in that case.
Do you ever get frustrated by the slow pace of the whole legal system?
You know, as we live our lives by deadlines, there's always a clock ticking on each activity in a case, and yeah, it can be frustrating for the attorneys. It's also typically frustrating for the clients. Expedited justice is the goal. It's not always, it's not always received, but we certainly do our best to push those deadlines and make them tight to get our client's case resolved faster.
I was called last year for jury duty. I was called again this year, too, but last year I was actually in the big jury pool for a famous murder case here. I won't say which one, but day after day we sat in the courtroom and listened to the questioning and this was just the jurors, and I'm thinking, if I was chosen for this jury, I don't know how I would stay awake. It is such a snail's pace. Yeah. But you have to do that every single day that you're in court.
We have to do it. And when I say we have to, we really have to. What you're trying to, you're talking about the process of voir dire or voir dire, however you like to pronounce it, and the process is designed to expose juror biases that may work against one side or the other in the case. In other words, the jury deciding the case, not on the facts before them, but on their biases or prejudices that they bring, that we all bring into our lives and into our experiences. So the questioning is often tiresome, and it's usually circumscribed to some degree by the judge. If the judge is going to give attorneys the opportunity to talk, they tend to do that, just as you're doing right now. Yeah. I appreciate it. Yeah.
They had a list up on the wall of the potential people who were going to be called to testify in this case, and they asked us if we knew. I knew everybody on that list because of my work in the media, and yet they still didn't release me until several days into I was surprised that I went that far into it.
Sure. Hey, a trial by jury is a trial by members of your community, and when smaller communities were predominant, a lot of people knew each other. It was a feature of our civil justice system that goes way back, and our criminal justice system. So, you know, that occurs quite frequently. In fact, the last jury we were selecting just a few weeks ago in Fresno County, we had the husband of one of our office workers on the jury pool. Now, he got excused. I don't know why.
I would think so.
Yeah, but it does happen.
Well, as an attorney, I would think you would want people on the jury that want to be there, not a bunch of people that it's the last thing in the world they want to do.
We're all busy in life, aren't we?
Yeah.
And finding people taking time off work, time away from family obligations is very difficult. The system has built in certain opportunities for people to raise challenges on hardship grounds, to be excused from jury service. A lot of people try and employ those opportunities in
yes,
the context of the jury selection. But you know, we do appreciate the process wouldn't work without having people volunteer their time for this important service, and we certainly hope that we give everybody that sense when we're in trial with them.
All right. Attorney John Fowler, how do folks reach your office?
Hey, we're located on the web at www.fhvlaw.com. You could read more about me, and you could read more about my partners at the website. Our phone number, if you'd like to make an appointment, is 559-283-8091. You can also email me directly, john@fhvlaw.com.
Wish we had more time. I could talk to you all afternoon.
Thanks very much, Mark.
Right.
I appreciate the
Good way to
opportunity.
start the show today. Thank you. And we'll be back with more on Central Valley Talk.